Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today in this video, I am going to show you how to test both API and your website together using Playwright. This is called Backend and Frontend testing, and it helps you find problems faster. So we are going to use a free public website called dummyjson.com, and we are going to send an API call, get the information back from the API, check the API content, and then we go to the UI and then check the same information appears in the UI as well, and we are going to compare. So why do we do this? Normally UI we check only what is appears on the screen, what the user sees, but sometimes the backend may have wrong data and the UI can show the wrong information. By testing both API and UI together, we can catch these mistakes early. So here is what we are going to do. This is the demo Playwright script I have, and it has both the API and the UI part. So first we are going to do a test. We are going to send a GET request to the dummy page to get the product information, and this is the API request, and you don't need any other tool. The API testing is built in to the Playwright. So we send this request using this request.get, and then we check the status, HTTP status to be 200, and then we are checking the content of the response. We are storing the product here, and then the product info, we are going to log the JSON response, and then we will check this test checks the property ID is there, and it should be equal to 1, and this is the JSON response. So now we have the product, the API response. We can now go to the UI and make sure the UI fetches this information correctly and shows this information on the screen. So here we are going to simulate. We don't need a real website. We create a small page inside the test using Playwright, and we will show the product title in a heading and description in a paragraph. So this is how a real website will look like. So we are going to inject this data to make it look like the website, the UI is actually going backend and retrieving this data. So we don't have the real UI and the real backend, so we are just injecting this to make it appear that the page displays the product information. And with the displayed information, we are going to compare the displayed information to the product, the JSON response. So the title in the JSON response matches the title that is shown on the product, the UI. So we can make sure that the UI is showing the correct data. So that's how. If it matches, the test passes. If it's different, the test fails. So this is the way we know the backend and UI are working together. In real world application, this can be very powerful. You can log in. You might have a token, so you need to add the necessary scripts to get the token, and then use the token to make a GET request to call your private APIs, and then check that the website displays the same information. And in this way you can test your products, carts, orders, and account details. So this helps prevent bugs in production. You can also extend this test. You can get a list of products and check that the website lists all the product information like price, the brand name, the description, the title, and even the images and their alt text. You can verify everything that the API returns is shown displayed correctly on the UI. So you can update a stock price in the backend, for example, and verify that the correct updated information shows in the front end. So this is how real companies test their apps. The good thing is that this test is faster than UI, a complete full UI test, because the API can set up data quickly. Once you have the token, you can now set up the product price, add a product, and then you can set other parameters simply by making an API call, which is very fast and it is not flaky at all. So all the setup is done by using API call, and all you need to do is once the data setup is done, so everything is built in. So we can see the demo script here, and this is all not a real website or real API, but I can show you the process. So when you run this test, your test will first make the API call, and you can see in the I have logged the response of the API call, so you can see the API call fetch the information of the product, such as the title and the description, and the same title and the description we are injecting into the UI to simulate that this title and description is actually the UI is making a call in behind the scenes, and it is connecting with the backend API and fetching the information. So in real application, this data is coming from the UI is talking and fetching the information. So we can now compare this in the front end with the actual data that is the API actually fetched from the backend. So you can then check the other details. You can simply make an API call to adjust the price, and then check that the updated price shows in the UI, or you can add another image and make sure the image appears in the UI within that allocated time. For example, if your images are in AWS or another cloud infrastructure, once you upload an image, you can test how soon that image is accessible in your content delivery system, for example. So there are various kinds of performance and other functional testing is possible with this combination of UI and API in the same test. We pull the data from an API, showed it on a page, and checked that the UI matches the backend. So you can see we finally check it at the end. So check the title shown on the page, that is using this locator, and then we are comparing with the title of the JSON response. So we can see here the title is essence and this text, and it exactly matches, so the test is going to pass. So let's complete the test, and you can see the test passed. So this is an elegant way for testing both the UI and the API and see that they match with each other. And so that's all for today. We pulled the data and from the API, showed it on the page, and checked both match. So this is a strong way to test your application. So if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.